Okay, now I am leaving Loxloy, going back home. So Chris went in and he purchased the food for Bubba and I and himself. Came to about 23 bucks. So I'm not sure if there's a street right there. In fact, I'm gonna back up and you see it. I think, whoops, I think the girl came out of that street. I think that's where she lives. So, very well could have been that Chris, watching traffic, pulled out, and she possibly pulled out right after her. So the videotape from the store actually shows him pulling out of Loxloy and traveling this way. At the scene, she told the police that Chris was crossing Highway 92 from 44th on the other side of 44th that we live on. I guess that would be the west side of 44th. And which there would be no reason for him to be over there if all he was doing was coming up to Loxloy to get some food. Even if he went to Getchell, he would still come home on Highway 92. So here we are, traveling along. It was a really nice day like today, although it was fairly cool. I'm sure Chris had his music up bumping because that's what he loved to do. He loved nothing better than to drive with the music as loud as he could and just enjoy that time. And always we're approaching where his baby is a lot. Approaching the house right there, Sam and Jim's house. He always honked, and she actually said earlier that she had heard him honk. Now the scary part right here is, as you can see, it's a real cluster. And he would have been parked right here with his wheel turned, and usually you can't see. You have to always watch for people coming up behind you on that intersection. If you're parked there waiting to turn left, you're constantly watching your rear view mirror because you don't know if somebody's going to stop or if somebody's going to go around you on the right hand side. A lot of times there's not room to go around the right hand side if there's somebody at that intersection, which that day there was. Like I said, the girl said that she looked down, looked up, there he was. Really like to know what she was looking down at. I'm pretty sure it was probably that cell phone. Since it was her birthday, I'm sure she was just planning away what she was going to do. You know, here it is. This is just as far as it is to our house. That's how close it was. Which is the most shocking part, is I was always so careful with my kids during driver's ed. They weren't even allowed to drive Highway 92 until they were 18. We made them take the side roads and everything because I was so afraid of that road. In fact, just 1 year earlier, there was another fatality at that intersection in December. And still, no changes have been made. There still have not been any changes. And yet, we're supposed to be fine with the fact that this girl was never charged. She refused the blood test because the cop didn't feel she was impaired, which I really feel there was bias involved. And we're home. That's how close it is. But there was bias involved, and that she had admitted she had smoked pot earlier. All Chris was doing was waiting to turn left to come home, and she hit him, going full speed with no brakes. The cops didn't even pull her cell phone records. They released his name before his daughter was even told. They released the information before we were told. They believed what she said, how the accident happened, above 3 other witnesses that told them otherwise. They let us leave the scene, knowing full well that she was the one who caused the accident. Even the guy in the white truck did a drug test and came clean. They even tested him, thinking he was the cause because of her story. And yet, she was allowed to go free with no perjury or nothing against her for lying. And I'll tell you what, the look on her face when she stood by me, getting something out of her car, she didn't know who I was, but when she finally realized it, and just the look on her face, the minute the cop came up to me, I said, I don't care what she said or what she's told you, but she's lying. And then they told us how she said it happened. And we said, no, look at the scene, look at her car right now. You can tell she rear-ended him, pushed him into oncoming traffic. The poor truck hit him, spun him, and he went, I don't know how many feet that is up the road. The sad part is Sam, who is Skyly's other grandmother, came out of her house and walked by the car to go talk to the cops to find out what was wrong, and she didn't even know that it was Chris laying there under the sheet. And it still haunts her now. She said it's really hard to know that they left him there for so long, because it was a good 2 hours. So yeah, we haven't moved on. We can't. We're stuck. We don't have any answers. We've been stopped. We've asked for body cam footage. We've asked for dash cam footage. We've yet to get that. We've asked for help for road design changes. We haven't gotten any help with that. We haven't got our story out at all. We know there's bias. There were 2 cops on scene that aren't even in the paperwork, that we know who they are, that shouldn't even really have been there, that there may have been some coaching. As a family, what's the old saying? Dead men tell no tales. The really hard part is that somebody heard one of the cops say, well, it was just another junkie. That's how much they valued his life. I mean, these are the ones that are supposed to protect and to serve. These are the ones that have codes of ethics and honor that they're supposed to observe. They're not supposed to be biased. And yet they can say something as callous as that on scene, not knowing who people are and not knowing who's going to overhear. These are fathers, grandfathers, and uncles that just belittled my son's life, and they don't know him. Did they care he has a 10-year-old daughter? 9-year-old at the time? None of that seemed to matter. So, yeah, people wonder what's going on. I haven't said a lot. I've been silent. Partly because I felt I had to. But I don't feel like being silent anymore. The first thing that this chick did was post on Facebook a picture of her car. I'm talking about her birthday and it being her car. And the only thing that was said for Chris was RIP driver. And in the thread, talking about the driver being the one responsible when she full well knew at that point that she was. And her mother backed her up on the thread, pointing the finger at Chris, knowing full well her daughter did it. What mother does that? I just don't understand how come she can't hold some accountability here and some responsibility. I mean, we didn't even get a I'm sorry or nothing. No acknowledgement. Not that I guess we should expect one, but that wasn't the way I was raised. And that's not the way I expect my children to act. In fact, I don't think they would act that way. But until we see some laws changed, or the case reopened, or the Washington State Patrol scrutinized for not following protocol in some of the basic things in treating her as the victim instead of Chris and his family, making promises of contacting me, and I've never heard from the sergeant. 2 years now almost. I was promised he would be calling me the next day. I have yet to talk to him. Didn't even have the courtesy, the professional courtesy to call me. And they did not change their story until they found out that we had an attorney. That's the only thing that caused them to change their story. Finally, months later, they printed a retraction. But by that time, everybody's already read the story and assumed that Chris was the one responsible when he was the victim. All his life, he had people lying on him, accusing him of doing stuff that he didn't do, ruin his life, so he couldn't even do things like spend time with his daughter. And then some chick lies about how he died and gets away with it and makes his life meaningless. So I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know. I haven't found my passion. I haven't found the answer. All I know is something needs to happen. I don't know if people in my community, if they really understood, like I'm trying to explain, would you care? Would you care to get involved? Would you care to see a change? Would you care to see the right thing done? What if this was your son or daughter? How would you feel? There's just no justice. It just feels like she could have just walked up and shot him in cold blood. That's what it feels like. She just got away with murder. Flat out. No consequences. She didn't even lose her license. She didn't lose anything. Oh, but she did lose one thing. 3 days after the accident, she posted, "I miss my car." Well, God damn it, I miss my son. I cannot believe how callous that is. I miss my car. I don't know, maybe she's a narcissist or something. She has no feeling. I don't understand that type of person at all. It's not who I am. So yeah, I'm stuck. This is where I am. I can't move forward. I can't move anyway. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is. I need help finding someone who will help us figure out a way to get some of this stuff changed. Because this just isn't right. Okay, well, I'm home.